So it's June 28th when I record this, and I'm going to talk about this prep. So I'm in between two shows right now. I did one 3 weeks ago, placed second, as I've talked about before, and now I'm 3 weeks into this like in between prep or whatever I should call it. I don't know, but like the period between preps or shows, I mean. So I'm 3 weeks from my last show. I'm 2 weeks until my next show. So it's getting closer. It's so crazy. Only 2 more weeks. And when I felt like it was going to take forever, these 5 weeks, but now it's like more than halfway there. And it's been good. It's actually been really not easy, but it's been more of like a sustain, but not at the same time not, because I'm trying to lose a little bit more body fat, because that was one feedback that I got from the judge, that I needed to get a little bit tighter between my glutes and hamstring, like the tie-in, as they call it in the bikini fitness world. That's where your glutes and your hamstrings connect. So they want the glutes to be like, the glutes and the hamstring to have like sort of a, I don't know how to say it, but they want to see both muscles really like where they kind of like connect to each other. I don't know how to explain it, but the glute and hamstring tie-in needs to be a little bit more shredded and a little bit more lean. So I need to get down a few more percentages in body fat in order for that to happen. So it's been a little bit more cardio than before, a little bit less calories, but still not too bad at all. I'm still not under 1,600 calories a day. I'm probably closer to 1,700, and I do an hour of walking. So I'm not doing any high intensity crazy cardio because I would not be able to do that. I just like get so tired and exhausted from high intensity cardio. So I prefer this over anything else for sure. And it's been really good because I do incline treadmill. But the thing is, right now I'm so lucky to be with a client on Ibiza. So we're living in a villa, a house that is like outside town. So I don't have access to a real gym. What I've been doing instead is walking up and down a hill. So I've been doing it quite a few times, which some days when I start feels really challenging, because it's like I need to walk about 15 times up and down in order to get the time in. Actually, to get an hour, I need to do about 20 to 21. So I usually break it up into two. So I do 15 first, and then I do a few more later in the day. But it's better to do it early morning when it's not as hot, for sure, because when it gets warm, it's even more challenging. But that's how I've been doing it, and it's been working really great because, or honestly, in the beginning, I got so sore. My legs were so sore because I wasn't used to walking so much uphill and downhill anymore. So my glutes were so sore. But it's been really great. Like, I've always, like, or not always, I've also, been doing it without listening to any podcasts or music. And it's been so meditative. Is that the word? It's been like meditation, because I'm just like in my head thinking and processing thoughts and listening to the birds and looking at the surroundings. So it's been really amazing, actually. So my stress has been really low, and it's been nice. The only thing is that I do miss working out in a gym, though. I only have access to 2 kettlebells, 2 dumbbells, and resistance bands. But even that has actually been working out really well. So, you always have to do the best, or make the best of what you have, right? So that's what I've been doing now. I've been like so determined that I'm gonna make the best out of it. So I have managed to do that. I feel like, at least. I can't do anything else than the best of out of the situation. So it's been really great, that as well. I've been waking up at 5:30 every morning. I go out and train around 6 because that's when it gets a little bit lighter here. It's still kind of dark, but it's okay to go out and work out. So I start at 6, and then I work out, like I lift weights until 7, and then at 7 I go do my cardio until like 7:45 because I do 45-minute-ish in the morning, and then I do another 15 minutes or so in the afternoon. But that's been a really good routine for me when it comes to the training, and I'm feeling really good body-wise. I was a little bit sore, as I said, when I started, but now it feels much better. So I'm in a good place. My coach is happy with how I look, and I am also really happy with the way I look. And I feel like I'm really going to bring an even better package to stage this time, which I'm excited about because I really want to get that glute ham tie-in perfect. I'm going to win the pro card, so I'm really working my ass off, literally, to get there. The challenging part, though, has been, which is not super challenging because it's been really great as well when I'm at the house, that's the food. It's been so great, and I've been able, they've been so nice here. They've been like cooking for me as I asked them to cook. So it's been great. And the only challenging part is that we have been out eating a couple of times. They go out more than I do. I don't always come with them. But for example, Midsummer, I wanted to go out with them. Midsummer is something we celebrate in Sweden, so we celebrated that as well. So I wanted to go out with them. And the thing is, when I go out and eat, I try to estimate the portion. But now it's so important that I'm really accurate. If it wasn't for like me being on prep, I wouldn't be as worried. But here now, when I'm actually this close to a show, I do get a little bit worried because I don't want to undereat, and I really don't want to overeat. But I definitely don't want to undereat either because that's going to cause like too much of, like I'm going to be exhausted because I'm not eating enough. So it's so important to actually be on point with the food in order to not eat too much, but also not eat too little. So that's why, like, that's the hardest part right now, to actually manage the food intake when I have to go out and eat. But this week, now when it's 2 weeks out, I'm really going to try to not go out and eat at all and just eat at the house in order to know that I'm actually getting the right amount of food in. And I would, as I said again, I wouldn't be as worried if it wasn't that I'm so close to the show. And this is such an important show to me because it's about the pro card. So it's been mentally tough at times, and like going out in the morning and starting the hill with 1, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I don't know how I'm going to manage to do all the 15 or however many. Like some days I do 11, some days I do 15, and then I do the rest in the afternoon. But it's, when you start out, it's so many, like it feels like it's going to take forever. But I'm not thinking that, or sometimes I do think that at first, and then I'm like switching. I'm like, no, can't think that way. I just have to like focus on 1 at the time. So I'm like 1, 2, 3, and then all of a sudden I'm at like 11, and I'm, oh wow, what happened? That didn't feel as hard as when I started. So what I've learned from this is that I shouldn't think about like, oh my God, it's so many when I start out. because that's the worst thing you can do for sure. So I'm trying to switch my mindset really quickly, and it's something I have worked on doing for a long time, and I'm still like working on it for sure. But that's like, I think I'm kind of a weird, not a weird person, but it's something I also enjoy. I enjoy like having that challenge in front of me, just as like I like when I was doing CrossFit as well. Like I just loved knowing that I had a 10-minute AMRAP, and I was thinking before, I was like, oh my God, how will I be able to do this for 10 minutes? That's just crazy. But when you're done, the satisfaction and the feeling in your body is so amazing, and it's so rewarding, and you're like, oh my God, I got through this. I did it. Yeah. So that's why I think I like competing, because it's like, so the feeling when you're in it, of course, as well, but also when you're done is so rewarding. It's hard to describe, but it's just feels like, yeah, just the challenge that I like so much. But other thoughts on my prep. So that was nutrition and training, and those are the two most important parts, but also the mindset, as I said. And yes, there are days when I do want to eat whatever I see, which is why it's so great that I'm actually in this house with my clients, because I don't have access to that much food. Because they have like staff that cooks for us, so we don't really have access to the fridge. Thank God. Because that means that I don't really need to see what's in there, and I don't really have like that. That's what I felt was the most challenging part with like having the fridge in the same room as I was working, for example, when I was living in Stockholm or when I was living in LA. I always had the food right behind me or right in front of me, and I was like, oh my God, when is the next meal? So that's something I'm trying to like not think about. And it's been really good right now, because I'm so busy with work, and when I have a good like work routine as well, and I have a lot to do, that puts my mind to something else, like recording this podcast, for example, and like answering my clients and posting on Instagram. It's so awesome. That's like what I love to do. And also like just like go out on walks and stuff, because if you occupy your mind with other things and not thinking about when to eat next or what to eat next, it's easier. And that's why meal prep comes in so handy as well. And that's why I always do that when I'm home, because if I meal prep, I just have to grab one of my boxes with food, heat it up, eat it, and then I'm done. Instead of like being, oh my God, what should I eat? And then I need to prepare it, and then maybe I like grab some of it and I'm not weighing it, and I'm not sticking to the plan. So now it's easier to meal prep. So you can just grab a box of food, eat it, and then go back to work. That's what I find like super helpful myself during preps. And also having like the flexible dieting style of, that I'm actually counting my calories myself. I choose what foods to eat, because if I do crave something during a weekend or so, I can actually have it. So I don't restrict myself as much. But as we get closer now, these last 2 weeks, I'm not gonna go off plan at all. I'm gonna stick to what I usually know that my body likes. So that's my plan for these 2 last weeks, and I'm just gonna keep pushing, because this pro card is in front of my eyes every time I train, every time I do my cardio, every time I eat. So, and oh yeah, another thing, of course, is the posing. I've been doing more posing, and I feel way more confident in my posing routine, which I'm so happy about. And also walking in my high heels, I feel so much more confident. So I think that will also add some value to the show for sure. So yeah, overall I feel good. There are though like days when I struggle for sure. I'm not a superhuman. There are days when I don't want to work out, when I don't want to do my cardio, when I do want to eat everything I see. But I also so badly want to win the show. So that's on top of my mind the entire time, and it makes it so much easier to actually push through and push towards winning the show in Alicante July 11th. So that was the update. I'm 2 weeks out, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to share with you guys how the show goes. And I'll definitely do that as soon as I will probably do another episode before that once we get closer to the show on how I feel and how I look and so on. But yeah, that's it for now. 2 weeks out and we're crushing it. Let's do it.